a slight of delusion with like
I love that.
sheer
Yes.
determination.
Yes, yes.
So like a lot of people say like, oh, like, is it gonna work? I say, I have no idea. We're just gonna figure it out. If it doesn't, I'll pivot. If, you know, I've pivoted a million times. I don't have to work harder. I don't have to go faster. I don't have to say yes to everything. If it's for me, it will be for me.
Today's guest had a bi-coastal upbringing, splitting her time in between New Jersey and California. You might recognize her from her many business ventures, but lately she's made a big move with Indigo Reset, a thriving beauty and wellness hub in downtown New Brunswick. With a team of over 6 women and growing, she's empowering beauty and wellness businesses in a way that is truly inspiring. Her path took an unexpected turn after becoming a mother and facing a health scare, which led her to approach business with the bold visionary mindset. Please help me welcome our next guest to the show, Shannon Rehill, to the Thrive podcast. Hi, girl. Hi, Shannon. Welcome to the Thrive podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Honestly, this is going to go so quickly. I feel like every conversation that I've had, it's been like going in like literally just like seamless, and it's just like natural conversation. So we're good.
Okay, good.
So Shannon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So where do I start?
So I know that you did tell me that you did have like a bi-coastal upbringing.
Yes.
So you were living in between New Jersey and also California. So I love California, by the way.
Oh my God.
The West Coast has like a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So when I read that, I was like, I love that.
Yeah, me too. So when I was younger, we moved a lot. So we moved when I was like middle school, elementary school, we moved over, moved back. As an adult, I moved over and came back. But yeah, we started there, and it was.
So were you born and raised in California?
Born and raised in New Jersey.
Okay.
We started here, born in New Brunswick, and then we lived here until I was like 4th grade.
Okay.
Moved out there for a few years, and it was amazing. It was a completely different way of life.
Oh yeah, for sure. Where in California did you live?
Southern, like Palm Springs. Palm Desert area.
Ooh,
it's a completely
girl,
different way of life.
I literally went to Palm Springs not too long ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, and I fell in love.
Oh my God.
Have you been there recently?
So last time I was there was in 2020.
Okay.
2021 maybe.
Okay.
And
I wonder if it's changed. Yeah, I wonder if it's changed since you lived there.
I lived there in 2019. I lived there, and it's just completely different.
It's very different.
And I feel like that is where it comes into like my adult life.
Yes.
Where it's like I'm both, you know, New Jersey is very hustle, and California is like relax. We'll get to it when we get to it. And I feel like that's like my perfect medium.
Yeah.
And
I can totally see that.
Yes. And so like I feel like I have times where I'm like grinding, and then I know when like
you have your season.
Yes, definitely. And I love it there. We did like horseback riding. We had horses. We had like
your family had horses.
Yeah. So we had horses. We would like ATVs. Like it was like a big acre. So it was like 5 acres we were on. Okay. And it was completely different from New Jersey.
Yeah, that's so different.
Completely different. And I feel like having the best of both worlds and just seeing both sides of worlds really makes you like as an adult be like, that was nice, or oh, that could have been different. Right. You know, like in different aspects.
You can kind of see like what you didn't like about it, and kind of bring that to your new life now as an adult.
And being exposed to it so young, I feel like I take a lot of those experiences even now in business, in my personal life. Yeah. I know when to like slow, and I also know like when to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like my actual next question about like how did that influence how kind of you do business and also how you live like your current lifestyle also.
Oh my God, it's everything. Yeah. I feel like that has like transformed me into who I am and who like how we carry our business now. I think having that SoCal mentality where it's like very laid back. Even in our business now in Indigo Reset, we're very minimal. We're very what we need when we need it. And yeah, I think
you keep like your business probably like structure very simple.
It's
and
very
simplicity.
Simple. Yeah. I mean, we didn't always have it like that. And I burnt the bridge a few times where I was like, everything has to go. We have to start it over. Just when it gets too complicated, it takes me back to my roots. We're like, okay, like we have to stick to the basics. I feel like the basics never stay be wrong.
Right. It takes you back to your roots. And I love that you're following your intuition a little bit more.
Yes.
I feel like that's a similar conversation that I had with another guest. And it was about like business is like all about feeling also.
Everything.
Yes, there's strategy to it, but you do have to feel like what feels right to you overall, because it's going to be a long-term longevity type of relationship with your business, right? So you're going to have to like build from a really solid foundation that feels right for you.
Yeah. And we didn't always have that. And when starting a business, you want to say yes to everything. And this hasn't been my first business, and I pray it's not my last.
Okay.
But now that I'm really getting into the season, I've been saying no a lot more. And I cringe every time. I'm like, oh my God,
it probably feels so uncomfortable for you.
Is this going to be like the end? But it never is. And it's good.
So you said you had another business. What other business did you have?
Oh my God. So it's so funny. So I've never told any of these stories before. Never did any interviews. Never. So you're getting everything untold.
I'm getting the raw and real.
You are. No, you are. Because I've never announced this. But I had an organizing business.
Okay.
It was all things organizing. I started it when I was 23 in 2018 or 2019 in California. Okay. And I started it just because I've always had like an entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm like, okay, I need to make money. And like, I have no capital, no startup, like whatsoever, like no funding for anything. So I was like, okay, what is the most low cost? What am I good at? Yeah. And like, what can I start tomorrow?
Yeah, literally.
So I'm Googling as like I'm sitting in my little studio. Okay, like what is low cost, high revenue, no
that was
degree.
Before ChatGPT.
Yes, yeah, and like hours, and then like all the high answers were like organizing businesses, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so OCD. Like this is amazing, and I did it. I created on Canva a little logo. I did a Google post, like creating a Google My Business. And I remember doing it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get all these clients. And it was a slow start, but that's how I made a living out there. And then I moved it when I moved back a year later. I moved it back to Jersey, and it was successful. I did a lot in like North Jersey and New York, and then pandemic hit. And then I was like, that's okay. Like, that's okay. So we took a year off, and with a year off came new opportunities, new ideas. And I was like,
you took like a huge moment of probably like reflection.
Correct. As like pivoting. Everything shut down. No one wanted people in their homes to organize. They're like, that's not a priority. I was like, okay, rightfully so. So then I was like, okay, let me pivot. I also had my son at that time. Okay. Yeah. So it was a huge shift, like mentality, work. I was like, okay, I'm going to be doing it different. And I didn't do it too different in terms of like work. But yeah.
Did you have like the support of like family, friends during that time when you had your kid? Like, was that any?
I think they always think I'm crazy. Because I always had these like wild ideas. And they're like, okay. But they're always like so supportive. And they're like, all right, that's, because doing the organizing, they're like, okay, like she's getting clients. And I was like away, like my main family is in New Jersey. And so I was out there doing it on my own. And my mom was like, oh, wow, you have a client. Like, oh, wow, that's cool. And then I'd have more and more. And then when I moved it out here, we were getting clients and my sister was helping. And that was fun. And
so how did you start pivoting in your business here in Jersey now? So after the pandemic hit, you went from organizing to
so let me backtrack. So before moving to California, I got my real estate license. And I was doing.
Yes, I think you mentioned that to me.
Yes. I was doing, I'm like all trick of the trade. I have done everything.
Honestly, but sorry to cut you off, but I feel like I've heard that that's actually a really good trait to have
for overall,
because you kind of get little bits and pieces of these little avenues and these roles that you start picking up, and you're like, this is what I like about this. This is what I don't like about this. And overall, it's all a learning process. You're in the entrepreneurial like journey. That's not going to look the same for anybody.
Nobody.
Nobody.
And so that was like my biggest, I would say like quote unquote insecurity, because I was jumping a lot.
Right.
So like fast forward, rewind 5 years ago, no one really jumped. They didn't really like break out of.
I feel like after COVID is when people started to
have
hobbies that they wanted to monetize.
So like a lot of my friends, they graduated, they went off to college, they got the job, they stayed at the job, and then here's me where I did the real estate, moved 3,000 miles away, started organizing people's closets, and then now I'm back, and after COVID, I had my son, and I was like, I just need stability. Right. So like, yes, entrepreneurial is great, but the real, you need a paycheck every week. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to what I did prior when I was living here. And I did like residential, which is great. It pays.
Residential real estate.
Correct. Okay. So like, it was like luxury high-rise buildings and it was great. And like, I was getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, but it gets old fast when it's not what you want to do.
Right.
So I went back to work when he was almost a year and I did that for about a year. And then I was like, I think I'm done.
You're like, I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. I got like, some steady stream of income. He's a bit older. So now like, I can really, I have my footing. And I remember around this time frame, during COVID and like inching back into work, I remember I was showering. And it's really weird to say. I was showering, like you wash your hair, scrubbing behind.
Oh my God, yes.
And I found this bump behind my ear. And it was like no pain. And during COVID, I told my boyfriend, I was like, let me feel your ears. Like, let me rub you.
Let me see if you have that too.
Do you have it too? Like, is it like a bump? And like, I was like, no, you don't have it. I'm feeling this side. I was like, I don't have it. Fast forward, still during lockdown, doctors were like doing telehealth visits.
Right.
But my son, they were taking newborns in. So I remember going to his doctor's appointment and she's like, oh, how's the baby? I was like,
can you check this thing behind my ear?
I was like, he's fine. He's fine. Can you check this thing that I have? And she's like, I only deal with babies. You can see my partner. So long story short, they tested it. It came back non-conclusive, like nor here nor there. And then he's like, well, we can run a biopsy or we can leave it. I was like, run it. So they said like it was like a cancer mass in like my salivary gland. I'm not really sure. So they did the surgery. And because it was so fast, I didn't really ask him any questions. In hindsight, you should always ask questions.
Of course, yeah.
I didn't.
How long of the time period from like when you first noticed it? Okay. And then you got surgery within a month?
Yes.
Oh, you moved quick.
So quick because I hear cancer and I have like a 1-year-old and I'm like, oh my God, get it out,
Yeah.
So after the surgery, I did not, maybe it's me being naive. I didn't know I'd have a tube in my neck. It's like a Johnson.
It was probably a big shock to you.
Yeah, I had that. And then.
Like a drainage.
Yes, the drainage. I never had any type of like injuries. Yeah. So like that obviously is like common nature. Me, I'm freaking out. I'm like, when is this coming out?
Yeah.
And then the whole side of my face was drooped. So
after your surgery.
After my surgery. So thank God.
Did they say that could possibly happen to you?
I didn't ask any questions. They didn't really say. And you should always ask. And then, what are the complications? What could happen?
Yeah.
But he said like it was like Bell's palsy where like this whole side of the face was down. And I remember saying like, is this gonna come back? And he said, if it doesn't come back within a year, it's permanent. I know.
A year is like a long time.
But we were like, I was still on Zoom at my real estate.
So you're like, that's fine.
That's okay because I'm indoors. We really haven't like lifted yet. So I was like, I'm still like working from home. And then I was like, that's fine. So, you have to all do these exercises.
What were your feelings like during this time?
Shitless. I was so.
I feel like you're telling this story and you're like feeling very confident, which I'm sure it's been a few years for you to process all of that.
I think I was also like this when it was happening.
Yeah.
Because I didn't ask many questions. And I just came out and my face was like that. I was like, fuck, this is intense. Like, and I remember telling my boyfriend, I was like, if my face is gonna stay like this, I was like, I'm gonna have the whitest freaking teeth that there is. So
I love that. That's your first
because
thought.
that's all I had. In like real estate, your face, your facial card, you're doing a lot of videos, renting.
Smile. Honestly. Like you want to be like presentable and just like welcoming.
Exactly. Right. And I always teeth whitened, like personally, I always did it. Like when you have to take headshots for like real estate and pictures.
Right.
I was always doing it personally. And then we were in lockdown and I was like, let me take a course. Let me do it naturally, like as little preservatives as possible. let me see if I can get
so again,
some stuff at home.
The little preservatives comes from like the California Western.
Yes.
Right.
As natural
West Coast background,
and you know what's so
probably.
crazy is that I consider myself very natural. So like how that could happen to me, I have no idea. I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Right.
At the time I didn't eat red meat. I was vegan. And I was like, how? Like I don't
know how this happened to you.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, and I don't like having like technology much around me. So I was like, that's so strange. But I was like, I'm gonna have the whitest teeth that there is. So I was looking, I was like, I can do my teeth at home and like the crooked face would be like less noticeable. And like now we're trailing into like my second business that I had. So I got everything at home, got the professional, like got professionally trained at that time. Everything was locked down. So everything was on Zoom.
Online. Okay.
Yeah. So I got all these courses and I'm doing them. And then, yeah, my friends started coming over and getting their teeth whitened and checking on me.
During COVID.
During COVID. Okay. Well, they were phasing out. So now I'm like going into the office a few times a week, still working from home. Everything's lifting, but slightly. Like it was like that summer where things were like lifting a little bit. So people were coming over, visiting, seeing the baby, me, getting their teeth whitened. And then I remember I was like, if I could just charge them $50 to like recoup.
Yeah.
This could be fun. Like this could be good. I'd have like a break even. And then I don't know where or when, but I was like, I could maybe when I'm not in the office take a few clients for like some extra cash because now I'm like working this like hourly job way less than I was getting paid when I did the real estate or in my organizing. So I'm at a huge pay cut still. And I was like, I could get like a place somewhere, like at a nail place or like a hair place.
Like some sort of suite or
not even a suite. I
just need a corner.
I was like, give me a back room of anywhere. I'll do it. That's
You're
okay.
so solution oriented. So I love hearing hearing your story. I think this is the first time I've ever heard your story the way you're telling it.
I never told anyone, so no one knows. I think
you gave me a very little quick synopsis when we first met.
I tightened it up a little bit.
But I love there's so much I feel like the story has so much perseverance, resiliency, you're so solution oriented, which I feel is so helpful in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's like a slight of delusion with sheer determination.
Yes.
So like a lot of people say like, oh, like is it gonna work? I said I have no idea. We're just gonna figure it out. If it doesn't, I'll pivot. I've pivoted a million times. Yeah. So like in the beginning, I was very embarrassed. Like, I am not doing real estate anymore. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing cleaning closets, like completely different, not related. And I was always embarrassed about it. But now I'm like, oh, like I've done everything. Nothing can surprise me. If this doesn't work out, I will start something else in 2 seconds. So so there was a salon opening up in my area and I messaged her. I don't even think she had workers. I don't even think she was like open yet. And I messaged and I was like, I do teeth whitening. Can I work out of your space? You could take a commission and like, this is my first space.
You shoot your shot, girl.
Oh, I've shot every shot. I'm like, this
is definitely a lesson learned. This is a lesson to like our audience and our listeners. Like, shoot your shot.
You have to.
Whether that's a girl, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job,
I have been
a career path you want to go into.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, like, she's like, oh my God, yes. She's like, I have a spare room. I was going to get a facialist, but you guys can share it if we find one in the future. I was like, amazing. I didn't have anything at this point. I literally was teeth whitening myself. Still had the crooked face, but masks were needed. Oh my God. Masks were needed. So I was like, that's totally fine. So I met the girl.
So nobody was able to see?
No one. I've completely concealed the crooked face up until this point. So mask, I was like, not a problem. I will wear mine religiously.
Girl, what a good timing.
We'll never take it off. So, so I got the space. We, meshed very well. It worked so good. I'm working out of it. I'm forever grateful for her. It was a storage room I was in. Yeah. And
storage room.
A storage room. Yeah. I was in it. This was like less than 5 years ago.
Okay.
So I was in her back room, but because of zoning and like permitting, they had to cut the room in half because you needed a break room. So I was like, my room has just gotten smaller. No door could fit. So there was no door. And I just remember, okay, I'm so grateful. Like I could not have been more humble. I come in with like their arm. It was like this size, just enough for the bed. So like their arm is on the wall.
Oh my God.
And I was so grateful. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you need a pillow for your leg? Like no one could tell me anything.
Stop.
Sheer delusion.
You're like, your teeth are going to come out so white when you come out of the...
But they did. And I was like, because I did it on myself a million times at home
You're
and
so
my friends. Oh my God. Yeah. Like your teeth, just don't look at the room. But this teeth is going to be amazing. So I gained traction from there. People would come see me in this little space and I would not pay any attention to the room. I know what it looked like. Like, you know, the doorway was held up by like a curtain with push pins.
Okay. Yes.
Like thumbtacks.
Yes.
So it's held up by thumbtacks. So like you couldn't open it. You just had to like move it over and they'd come in and I was like, I just have to win them over when they're in. So I won them over and I got repeat clients and I was like, okay, I think I could get another location. Like I think I need a better presentation. So I, you know, again, shoot my shot.
Can I ask you one question?
Ask away.
So you, again, perseverance and determination. Did you have, at this point, did you have like a greater vision for maybe like your life or maybe because maybe you just had a baby, so that is like your bigger, like, you know, your North Star. Did you have something greater in the back of your mind or were you just like doing day-to-day stuff?
I was so far in the trenches and the think of it. Like there was I was like, okay, I just need 3 more clients and I will break even. Like I was like tunnel vision.
You were just like red personality. I need to hustle and be in the trenches right now.
So like
you didn't know what you were going to come out.
I had no idea I would be doing teeth whitening. Like
you didn't know that there was going to be a bigger story to this at the end of it.
No. Okay. And that's how I came this far. Is I had no idea I'd be here. Just life kind of snowballs. And you just have to be like open.
You were just putting one foot in the
you just have to be open to anything. Because if I was like, I'm gonna make organizing work. Yeah. I'm going to make this work because I started this and this is my baby. I wouldn't have came here. Right. So, and I got another location and now this is about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago. So I was in the back outside of someone's break room in like a
humbling beginnings. I love it.
In like a glow out,
like a tanning?
No, like blow dry. They do like makeup. And it was like in a strip mall in my area. And I was so thankful because I was like, oh my God, we've made it to like a larger storefront. I'm still in the back. I'm still, they had to walk sideways past me because it's like they do hair color there. So to mix their colors, I was under where it said exit. So I'm under.
You were like at the end of.
Yeah. So like so the bathroom is here and I'm in the nook, but they made it for me. And she like made like a little retractable table. So when I wasn't there, they put the table down and it was very cute. And yeah. And
so that was your second location.
That was my second location doing teeth whitening. And again, when they would have to bump their chair mid-service to like move past to like get to the color, I would just say, oh, I'm so sorry. So, you know, like I see where I am. We don't have to say it. You know what I mean? Like, but like
you don't gotta say it. I don't gotta say it.
Right, but you're gonna leave with the whitest teeth. Yeah. So gain some traction, and maybe a few months go by, and I'm like, okay, I have some clientele. Like I actually like have clients that want to come back. And again, this person's just taking commission. So I don't have a space yet. And then I tell my sister my bright idea. And she's always like, she's very logical. And I'm very like big.
More spontaneous.
Yeah, more spontaneous. Like, oh, let's shoot for the stars and like, we'll see where we land. Yeah. And she's very like, let's think this through. Let's calm down. But I was like, oh.
Do you feel like having someone like that in your corner also helps you in some way in business?
Yes. Or I don't know what I would be doing. Like I'm very I don't even want to use the word scrappy, but I'm very like,
you use what
resourceful,
you got.
very
Right.
extremely
Which is
resourceful.
very important.
Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, you must have imposter syndrome. Like this was only, 2-3 years ago. I was like, I have grinded and crawled my way here. I have no sense of imposter syndrome whatsoever. I was like, if
I don't feel like that now for sure.
Yeah, like I
don't see that coming.
I've worked my patoot to get here. So I was like, yeah, and then we finally got a suite.
Okay. So you were in your second location for how long?
All of them were like months.
Okay,
like
so less than a year each time.
Yes,
okay.
less than a year each time. Because I knew, like, I was like, okay, this is me now. That's okay. But like, it can't be forever. So I was like, okay, let me work, because I needed to make my own schedule. Because where I was, I had to work on their salon, their space, their rules. So like, I had a very small window that they were allowing me in. So I was like, okay, like I have to batch all these clients in, like working every single weekend forever. And I
do have a question. During this time, like you're a brand new mom, right? How was that part of your life? Did you have any support while you're kind of grinding it out with your full time, and then also with building your teeth whitening business?
Yes. So I still have the real estate up until this point. I'm still doing that. I actually left the residential job and got, I was like an assistant to a like very well-known realtor. So like I would do all her listings. So I still had that, and I had doing on the weekends, the teeth whitening. My mom, my sister, boyfriend, all have like
your village.
Has like pitched, has pitched in whenever, wherever, helped me move in, helped me move out.
You made it work no matter what.
Even when they're like, Shannon, like, I think this is too much, or like, they're all like this.
So did you deal with that? Like while you were kind of like moving from one location to the next, like were your friends, were there people around you who were not believing in what you were doing?
I don't think I was believing in what I was doing.
Okay.
I think I was just trying to make something work.
Okay.
That I sold it well. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, you have to believe it or no one else will.
Right.
But yeah, I think they all thought I was insane. I thought I was insane. But I was like, okay, I have this certificate and I have all these clients. So like, we're going to continue to do it. And did I think I'd be teeth whitening? No. Did I think I was going to be in the back of a space when like I had a successful real estate before leaving to California? No. I remember running into the old developer. He's like a real estate developer. And I remember running into him. And he saw, oh my God, cringe.
What you were doing.
He saw this, like I had like a car sign on my car
for
like business. And he saw it.
Like promoting your teeth whitening business.
Yes. And he saw it and he's like, oh, it's what you're doing. And he paid me so well at the time. I had no experience. And this was...
As a realtor.
Yes. He actually paid for me to get it.
Okay.
I already had it at the time. So I was like, oh, like you don't have to pay. But it was just a thought. And... yeah, and I remember I was like sinking in my chair. I'm like, oh my God, I had it. I could have been. And then I was like, oh, I chose entrepreneurial. Like, it's a blessing and a curse because you're grinding way more.
I just think you had a deep belief.
I still do.
Sense of like yourself, really, or like what you wanted to create for your own self.
Yes. And I remember when I was in California, my dad lived out there. And he was like, all right, this is what we're doing. Okay.
Your dad?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing this. We're going to do this. And you're going to help me do these. You know, at that time it was the cleaning of the closets or the houses. Like, so we moved it up back. And yeah, it was like whole houses that he helped me with, and it was fun. Okay,
so now we're leaving the second location. Yes. We're moving into your now location in New Brunswick?
No. This is a long road.
Okay.
So this was our one prior. So we're almost to where we are now. It's a long road. If you think entrepreneurial is like for the week, like you're not for it. Like you know, if you really want something, like you'll start ground level. Yeah, I remember when I first started, I didn't even have a booking app. I I literally had.
You were just DMing, like, I don't.
I
I'm like, was
papered
there
and-
DMing, text messaging?
This was 4 years ago. I papered and penned. So like when they signed their waiver, that's how I got their phone.
Oh, you're a paper and pen girl.
Paper and pen.
Okay.
That's how I started. I literally
Yeah.
had nothing. So like I was like, okay, like I can't put anything into this. I have a baby. Like, so I was like, well, there's a will, there's a way. And so when they signed their waiver, that's how I got their information. I just kept every single waiver known to man. So when I had my,
You probably had like a stash of papers.
a whole binder I had. And when I got my booking app, when we got to this location prior, I manually put everyone in and I announced like, oh, hey, we're now at this location. My sister was doing lymphatic drainage at the time. And I was like, Amy, what if we go in on this rent together? It's less of a burden for both of us. She was just starting, so she was doing it at home. And I was like, we can both go in. The only space that we could afford and what was available was, oh my God, it was like 200 square feet. It was smaller than people's bedrooms. And we shared it. She had one side, I had one side. And it was gorgeous. We made that small space. It was an historical building, so you had to go through like untouched, preserved buildings. So it was like from like the 40s or the 50s. So the building was like very old, not modern, not our aesthetic. And I was like, but when you open our door, it was gorgeous. We painted everything. We had beautiful high ceilings and we made that work. And we had to take, because it was so small, we had to take clients on 2 different days. We couldn't be there at the same time. So
hey girl, you made it work up until now still. So
that's why I'm so.
I don't think it's anything new to you.
No. So, but it was our own, and we can go and come as we please.
Right. Now this is like your own thing.
Right. So that's where it's like humble beginnings, because I was like, that's okay. Our space is small. You're there. Like after hours, I'm there first thing in the morning. We never saw each other, and. Yeah, and I made sure my side was clean for when she had clients. She made sure her side was clean, and we kind of like bounced each other off that way. Like when they would come in and they would see my chair and then like a massage table, they'd be like, "What's
over there?
What's next to my elbow?" It was so small.
She said my elbow.
It was so small, and I was like, "Oh my God, my sister, she does lymphatic drainage. Like, here's her card." Because at the time we were 2 separate businesses.
Right.
I was under as the Smile Spot. She was under a sculpting studio. 2 separate businesses, 1 location. And we're like, this is genius. Like, we're splitting our rent. This is amazing.
You're exposing probably her clients to...
Cross.
Right. You guys are crossing each other, exposing each other's
2
clients
separate
to each
booking
other.
apps.
Right.
So, like, my client base was not her client base. So...
But they can be.
They could be. But it was really hard when I'm marketing. I'm not marketing her clients. I'm only marketing mine.
Right.
So, and it was great. And then she went on maternity leave. And I had the space to myself. And I was like, with my wild ideas, I was like, let's look around to see what else is there. I still to this day.
You were just thinking bigger.
Still to this day, and I don't know what I'm thinking.
You just thought, right. I don't know if at this point you had a bigger vision for your company. No. But you were just like, okay, you were just trying to improve little by little.
Literally anywhere I can, as long as I'm not in like a back room, I'm like, we're better than what we were. So, but I think it all stems down to where my real estate kicks in is like, I'm always looking at properties. Always.
Right.
Even till today, we're in a corporate like commercial lease. We're not leaving yet, but I'm always touring places. I'm always meeting people.
Seeing your options.
Always seeing my options. I don't know where those options are taking me, but I was like, okay, this could be cool. This could be cool. And so I did that when she was on maternity leave. And
she had no idea.
No, until I told her I love this place and we're going to go see it. And like she had her baby, God bless him, he's so sweet. And it's her 2nd son.
Oh.
And so I tore it, and I did not know it's the owner, is the realtor of where I currently am.
Okay.
Same owners. So he's like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm over here on Bayard Street. Okay. And he was like, where?
Also the same guy that you're renting for.
Yes.
Okay.
And they didn't know my lease was not up. So like, why is she touring other places? I sunk. And I was shaking. I was like, he's like, oh, where am I? I was like, oh, 46. Like, I'm over here. And he was like, that's where the landlord, that's his building.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, do not tell him my name. Do not, like, I don't need any riff. I don't even know if I'm leaving. Don't, you know.
Right.
And he was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. And this is like where I say everyone needs to shoot their shot. Look at places, even if your budget doesn't reflect it, even if you don't have any staff. I had no staff. My sister.
It was probably bigger than what you actually maybe needed.
Three or four times bigger.
Right.
Yeah. And mind you, in this 200 square feet that we currently had, it was our waiting room. It was where they changed. It was our 2 chairs. There was no other. It was it.
Right.
It was that was all I had. So the space that I was looking at, I was shooting big. It was like well more than I ever could afford. And it had a waiting room. It had the storage. It had 3 treatment rooms. It had the closet. It had everything.
You're like, what? I don't know what I'm gonna do here, but
it had the arched windows. It had everything that was on my list. And when he said that, I sunk, because in my head, I'm not getting this. I'm just not wasting his time, but I'm just looking. I'm just, you know, manifesting, seeing what my options are. Like, wow, this would be really nice. Like, this is where my desk would go. This is where 2 chairs would be. And he said, oh, well, I'll just ask them. Maybe they'll do something for you. And I was like, don't ask. I was like, don't ask. No, it's okay. He's like, it's immediate now. Our lease wasn't up for the year.
Okay.
Like,
so
we just moved in. We just moved in.
Oh.
And not like within less than 6 months. And like, our paint is still just fresh. We just hung stuff.
Stop.
But I still always, you know, you have to see what's out there. You can't stay in one space and be complicit. Bigger, you can't. And so I was like, no, don't say anything. No, I don't even know. Like, he's like, it doesn't hurt, you know, him being a realtor, doing a great job.
Right.
I was like, yeah, just ask them. Like, it's fine. Knowing I cannot afford. I don't even have your deposit. Like, I don't even have it. They said that we were so sweet that anything that we wanted. They did not charge us to break our lease.
Wow.
They trans-overed our lease. We had, it was just a blessing.
What do you mean they trans over your lease?
Because it's the same owner.
They kept the same amount?
No. They didn't keep the same amount, but they transferred.
Like the leasing agreement or
correct.
something like
that. So they canceled that one out and transferred us over.
Wow.
So we were able to, the same time, time it right, where like they would end our old agreement.
Mind you, and your sister's just hanging out at home with her baby.
I can't. So he was like, you have to jump on this quick. Of course, he's going to say that. And in my head, I already know, like, we don't have to jump on it quick, but I wanted it.
Yeah.
It was,
I mean, it sounds like such a seamless transition.
Yes, it seems so seamless until I did not think. And maybe that's where it works in my favor, that I don't think, what could go wrong here? What could go wrong? That was the farthest thing from my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, we can have a waiting room. We can have women come in and have like team meetings. Like I had an intern at our old location, and we just sit on the treatment bed, and then we had that meetings. Yes. And we were making the moves in that small space, so I knew it was possible. And I told Amy, I said, Amy, you have to come see this space. To my knowledge, I think she only saw it on camera.
Did she say yes?
I don't think she said anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speechless.
Yeah, because we couldn't afford it. We cannot afford that. That was just, it was not, she's still on maternity leave. But I was like, no, we can fill the rooms with people and we can get the team and we'll be good, because now we can operate more. We can work at the same time, because we were very limited. So I was like, we can work at the same time. So now our revenue would be more, because we had to work her evenings, me nights.
Either you or her working.
Exactly. And so I was like, now we can work at the same time.
Right, which will bring in more revenue, correct.
I was I was missing the whole of what could go wrong. And so we signed our contract for years. Like a commercial lease, you can't do it for 1 year.
Okay.
So we're in it, and we signed, and
So you're in a committed relationship.
so committed, you have no idea. And then, she got back from maternity leave, and we were moving our stuff in, and it's happening, and it's all happening so fast. Like, as fast as I'm saying it, as fast as it happened.
Rent is due like in a day.
Rent was due in 3 weeks. Rent was due in 3 weeks. And we're like, okay, we need to turn this place over because it was an insurance building before. So nothing aesthetic was about this place. It was as dingy as dark.
Have you created your branding and at this stage in your business?
I've changed it 20 million times. Nothing stuck.
Okay.
But I knew I had the clients. I knew my service was good, and that's all to me.
That was important.
That's all that mattered.
Right.
If they have seen me in the back of like almost a closet and their break room, that there is no less that you can go here. So like if you're gonna see me there, oh my God, come to my new space. It is an old historic building, and you had to preserve it. They couldn't like change any walls or anything because it's historical. But I was like, once you get in the door, we've painted, it's gorgeous, and they'll love it. And they did. And now we're in the space that we're in now. And Amy's back from maternity leave, and we whipped it up in like less than 2 weeks. And it was like less than 2 weeks, and the paint is done because it was very dark. Like I said, nothing. It was a very dark, almost like a dark gray. I was like, that is not it. No, it wasn't it. And it was, So we whipped it up. We moved all of our furniture in by ourselves with our little wagons.
We know about the wagons.
With the wagons and like 5 trips. And it was crazy. Crazy. It was insane. And then I was like, okay, go big or go home. So we were investing like everything into this. And
when did I meet you? How long were you in business for already in that location?
So you came to the new office. You did not come.
Yes,
Thank God. Thank God. Thank God you were not there. I feel like you would have a little sadness for me. But you were at our newest location. We were only there
less than a year.
Way less than a year.
My God.
We were probably there 6 months. Less than 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yes,
stop.
I have hustled all of you to come. I was like, come.
You really did hustle me.
Yes, literally anyone and everyone. It's up for debate on where we actually met, but
it's up for debate.
It's sure up for debate. I don't really know, but I remember just messaging everyone. We're at a new location. Come and see. Like at this point, I had no face. Like if I haven't spoke to you in 10 years, oh my God, I miss you so much. You have to come to our new space.
You gotta get people in.
Literally no shame, no face. And I was like, everyone come in.
At this time with your health scare
and
your Bell's palsy, that has already cleared up. Right?
So no. So our other location, it's lifted. I mean, you could kind of see it. Thank God. Like this one's a little lower, but this whole thing, it was like drooped and drooped. You can't
really see it though.
Thank God. After the year, it did not come back fully. Strange. And the doctor said this has nothing to do with it. But when I got my wisdom teeth removed, it like shifted and you can't tell it as much.
Did it like correct it?
That's what I said. Cause I don't know like the jaw, but he said, no, that's impossible. Like that, two things don't go together. And I was like, I think it did. Cause I don't see it. I was like, I prayed really hard. So like maybe.
I mean, Bell's palsy is like a nerve thing.
But it was like so Bell's palsy. It's a temporary because with the incision, they not cut the nerve endings, but this is where your nerve endings are. So I guess they were damaged from taking out the mass. So he said.
And maybe when you extract, you said a wisdom tooth extraction.
Yes.
So when you extract teeth, that's also, there's nerve endings there also.
Interesting.
Yeah. So maybe something did become corrected.
All I know is I prayed so hard and I was like, I need this face back. Aww. Like I have
I'm in my new space now.
Yeah, I am in my new space. And I think that's where I became very natural. Like beauty to me, and it's funny because I'm doing teeth whitening and like getting girls in for facials in our new space. But like beauty to me is not what you look like. It's like how you take care of yourself on a daily basis.
I love that.
And I think that's why I was grinding so hard, because it's not like, I don't want you to just come in and get your teeth white. I want you to really feel good with, you know, with yourself. No makeup, no nails, no hair done.
Right.
Just
so like
naturally.
probably, okay, I feel like
just
there's like a little purpose behind that.
Yeah. So like
yeah.
when I did the teeth whitening, that's how I needed it. Like I needed it to just like, okay, I need to feel better. Like I'm not a makeup girl. I'm not nails or like very beauty treatments.
You're very simple.
Very minimal, very
minimal.
simple. And I always got my teeth whitened. I was like, this will help me. This will make me feel like crisp, clean. And it's so funny because now what we do, it's not, but I feel like it's a treat and it's a gift. And like, you don't always have to have a face full of makeup like I do. But when you do, you want it done properly and with like the most quality and professional people that you can think of. And so when we got into this location that we're at now, I was like, I need the best people. The best people already had their own location that I was finding because no one wanted, in my best people, I was offering a commission, how I started. The best people don't want commission. They want to run their own business. They want to come in when they want.
That's true.
And so what I was attracting was not my vision. And I remember.
So now you're in this new location with you and your sister, offering 2 different services.
Yes.
Now you're thinking bigger.
Yes.
Now you're thinking of hiring and scaling your business.
Correct.
Right? So how did that pivot look like? So you went from Smile Spot to now Indigo Reset. And I remember, not yet.
No. So we operate, I know. You're like still, I know. It's crazy. So we're still operating under 2 separate businesses now in this new office.
Okay.
She still has her own booking app.
Okay.
I still have my own booking app. So on our front door, we had like
2 different.
Yes. Yeah. Like the 2 people are in this office. And so she had one treatment room. I had one treatment room. And then we had another room that we made as our office, but we didn't really need an office. We're like, this potentially could be another treatment room. And so come tax season, now we're a year in. Come tax season, our accountant's like, that's not working. Who's writing off business insurance? Who's writing off expenses? Who's writing off the rent? Who's writing?
So now everything is hitting you.
Hitting because I didn't think of any of this.
Right. You were just like moving.
Right.
But now,
So I'm like, oh, she'll get rent this year and then I'll get expenses and like we can switch next year. So that's not how this works. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to dissolve both of your businesses today. Yes, we had to dissolve both of our businesses. And become one. That's how Indigo Reset was born.
Oh my God.
I know. Okay. And so
all these learning curves.
All the learning curves, every curve I could have hit. I have hit gracefully.
With your 2 feet.
Yeah.
With 2 toes.
And I was like, that's okay. So I was like, how are we going to tell our clients, now we're in this new space. We're still the same people, but now we're under as a new name.
Okay.
Right. And I was like, how are we going to do this? Yeah. So it wasn't, and I think it was a lot of fear because up until this point, I don't think I really had much fear. Everything was like going, but I felt it was getting confusing. Now,
did you feel some sort of attachment with your business?
No, I actually felt no attachment because I knew, I was like, we're going to something better. I always like, maybe that's just who I am, but like, I couldn't start all things organizing tomorrow. Like if I wanted to, like I don't feel any attachment. I just know like, okay, I'm getting to where I need to be. And I knew doing all of those things, I knew it wasn't my purpose. I was just like, okay, this is another stone. Like I already knew it when I was doing the teeth whitening. I don't want to be doing teeth whitening, but I knew I was getting results. I was meeting the women I wanted to meet. I was meeting beautiful, amazing, all different walks of life wanted their teeth whitened. And everyone had a different reason. It wasn't always vain. It wasn't always, oh my God, I have an event and oh my God, I'm perfect. A lot of people, a mom just wanting to get started. And so like, I knew I was helping people, maybe not saving lives, but
that
like.
made you feel good.
Yeah.
That brought fulfillment.
And when we were bringing a person on, we were trying to hire and it just was failing miserably. Because now like we've created this space and like me and Amy have like such rapport with these people and like they've literally helped us get to where we were, that I was like, oh my God, this facial or this brow treatment better be the best they ever got, because that's all I had. Like when I was in the back of that closet, the only thing I had was, this is going to be your best teeth whitening experience you will ever get. So like quality
just mattered so much to you.
It was all I had.
Yeah.
It was literally all I had. So like that takes me to like where we were today is like, this is a beautiful office, but you can't leave this office not feeling like this was the best facial or best brow service you have ever received. And so I'm coming from like a very consumer side of it and not a business side. And that's how I always have led. I've always led with like, what's good for the client will be good for me in the end. And so
do you feel like you learned those traits through real estate? Because I feel like when you're in sales, you know, I was in sales before also. So I feel like you learned so much more about how important it is for putting the consumer first, right? And putting their experience.
Yes, but also when you're in the back of a closet, that's all you have. Like I can't, you can't,
that's so
you
true.
can't be in like,
you can't mess up.
You can't be like in this small room and then leave and be like, that was horrible. Like I need you to leave, be like, okay, so her setting isn't the best, but like, trust me, you'll love her.
But my results are amazing.
Correct. And that's where I got all my reviews and like
your referrals.
My referrals, like people would refer people left and right. And that's how I got to where I was with like, you know, her space isn't the best. Oh, you're going to go in the back of that hair salon. Like she's in the back to the left. When you do that, you're going to meet me and I'm going to be like, oh my God, like, thank you so much.
Do that.
I know.
You did do that to me when I went to your office. I was like, oh, wow, she's a lot, like, wow, she's really nice.
Yeah, like, thank you,
you
so
did sell me
but thank you so much for coming. Like, because I literally, like, I needed every single person that walked through that door to love it and refer me. Because if they didn't love it and they left, that's one less client I had.
100%.
So at this point, I'm like burning the bridge down because the business was getting way bigger than me and my sister anticipated it to be. And I'm
I'm sorry to cut you off. What were some of like, at this point, were you feeling any sort of like burnout?
It wasn't doing, so I wasn't feeling burnt out. Like me, I will, if I'm passionate about it, I'll do it 7 days a week.
Were there any like big obstacles that you feel like you had to go through? It sounds like kind of like right now.
Yeah,
when you're starting to feel
I felt like it was not the vision.
Okay.
And I know that sounds funny to say. It didn't feel like the vision, but it wasn't where, and I don't even know, back then I don't even know what the vision was. I just knew this is not it. This is not it. So I remember at this point, I had let go of all of our interns. At that point, we had about 2 or 3. I let go of them. All the people that we had been through 4 girls. We had let go of everyone. And at that point, we're now in this big office with me and my sister. And looking at each other. And I'm like, okay, this may not have been it. And then I remember, because we were not getting the girls that I needed. This
time you're trying to build your team.
Correct. At this time, I'm like, we have this space. We have this extra room.
You wanted to provide more services.
Correct. I needed more services through the door.
What do you feel like helped you actually?
Burning the bridge, burning the house down. Starting from scratch. If it does not feel right, do not be afraid to say, scrap it. Scrap literally everything. I scrapped my business name. All of that I scrapped. I deleted everything that I had.
I just kind of started over.
And at that point, it was very real because rent is due every month. Bills are due every month. And if you're not maintaining your clients, there's services, a million other places. They don't need to come to me. And that is a hard reality that you need to swallow fast and like act. And so I was like, okay.
Did you do anything different moving forward here?
Yes.
Did you ever hire like a business coach or like a mentor? Did you have a mentor?
No, I mentor. I mentor. Like I think, because I'm not very good at taking people's advice. Like you can give it, but if it doesn't feel right, and I might take it, and then if it doesn't feel right, I'll scrap it. Yeah. And so at this point, I'm like, let's hire, but be very strategic on how we're hiring. And I literally have handcrafted who we have in our office now.
I love that.
We have filled the room with 5 girls, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love that.
I messaged nonstop. And you can't say, like, you can't take 2 no's and be like, oh my gosh, this isn't going to work. You can't even take 50 no's. You can't even take 100 no's.
Yeah.
That's not being, I had people say, no, literally, no.
Like they didn't want to work there.
No. They would come and they're like, oh, are you offering a commission? I'm like, no, you'd be responsible for your room.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, no, I'll just be on my own.
Okay.
And they didn't see it. They didn't see the vision. And so like now what we have is like, I manage the office. We do like monthly content days for these girls. And I feel like in hindsight now that I'm talking about it, it's what I needed in the very beginning that I did not have. So like we have the support of our team. Like if you have a question, if you're running a new service, if you have a new service that you need content for, if you are unsure.
You kind of felt like you kind of removed yourself from doing the nitty gritty.
Exactly.
But honestly, you've had all of these years of so much experience, like real life nitty gritty in the trenches experience. Yes. And now you're these girls' mentor in business.
Correct.
That's really cool.
So, and to think of it, I did not anticipate for this. I did not think of it. I burnt the house down because it wasn't working. And I was like, I'm not afraid. Like, even though everything is due in 2 weeks, I was like, that's okay. We'll figure it out. It's not a problem. And you just have to be able to do that and not have, when you said in the very beginning, do you have an attachment? I don't. You have to remove yourself because because in 10 years, I would love for the business to operate without me. And many people don't even know who I am. I'm so like, when they come in and they see our girls, they're like, oh, that's so nice. And like, it's way bigger than me. And I love that. And I wish for that. And like, these girls are amazing. They work their butt off. You think I work, you know what I mean? Like I would not bring on someone that didn't match the hustle. And
so what mindset shifts have you had to make? It sounds like you're stepping into a much more leadership role.
Correct.
Right? What kind of mindset shifts have you had to make during this pivot?
That's a good question. I feel like I always had this mentality because you have to have a leadership to grind as hard as you do.
You have to like lead yourself first before you can lead others.
Correct. Yeah. So I did that very well. And I feel like the only thing I changed and what really, really helped me is things for me will come. Like it's not, I don't have to work harder. I don't have to go faster. I don't have to say yes to everything. If it's for me, it will be for me.
So do you believe like in your own pace, your
Correct.
own lane?
And if it's for me, it'll happen. Yeah. Right. And I feel like taking that, like really taking that and not trying to make something work because like, oh my God, I don't want to miss this opportunity. Like if it will be for me, it will be for me.
Yeah.
And like taking.
Where do you think that came from? Where you just like feel like.
I feel like I said yes to everything because I was trying so hard. And then I peaked at the plateau of my business and I realized I didn't like it. And I was saying yes to everything to make something work. And like, you know, coming from those little locations and then getting our little suite. And I'm like, okay, I have my footing. Let's move. Let's get the team. Let's get the girls. Let's add these services. Let's get the bigger space. I'm like moving up. And then at the top, I'm like, I don't like any of it.
Yeah.
Like none of it.
So you had to almost surrender.
Yeah. And I was like, actually all of it can go.
Yeah.
And like everyone thought I was crazy. Yeah. They're like, you built this business for 5 years. Yeah. You guys,
It's scary. That's a scary jump.
It's so scary.
Big,
and
scary
I know
jump.
I'm saying it like so nonchalantly, but it's so scary to say, actually, I was wrong and all of it can go. And you have to just scrap everything. At this point, me and Amy have stopped doing our services. That's hard because you have a rapport with a client. And not only do you have to sell these clients on
to a new person
to stay at your building, to stay within like your clientele, but to now see other people and different services.
Right. Like I feel like clients really feel attachment to their
service.
I
and they'll tell me like, oh my gosh, like that's so amazing that you're training. I'd still love to come and see you. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And so it's a huge mind shift and it's a huge change, a huge adjustment, but sometimes it's needed and it is scary. And it's like in the thick of it, it's like, oh my God, I'm slowly tanking it as we speak. And then, but if I allowed myself to be like, it's tanking and it's going and be like, you know what?
Everyone else is just going to follow.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? It's like, it's not working. I'll just go back to my job. You know what I mean? If I just let it fall, because it was falling. And as we were letting the people go, I'm like, you know, they are not serving the business. So like they're not adding to my vision. So that was fine. Yeah. But it's like, okay.
So you had to kind of get comfortable with the hiring and letting go process.
Correct.
Also, which is another thing.
Yeah. And letting go of the service that I was doing because I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to be in the role that I am in now. But how do you jump to being in the treatment room and doing a service to now running your business?
It's the only way you're going to scale.
And you don't have any people.
Right.
And I'm trying to hire and they're not matching it. So I remember hiring, firing, and I was quick.
What do you feel helped you during that hiring process?
Getting very clear and being
very specific,
very clear, very direct. So like I was hiring and firing within 3 weeks. Okay. Like I did not let them get like comfortable because if it's rocky from the start, it's done. Right. Because we can't mess up again. Right. So like, and I remember the girls, and I did feel bad because the girls were like, well, just let me know what I'm doing. And I'm like, it's not you. Like, I need to go to the next person. And, you know, you can train a person, but if they're not getting the vision, I have to go to the next. And I was very quick on that. And I remember Amy telling me,
I feel like you have to be.
You have to be. And it's nothing personal. Yeah. And I wish everyone, like, you know, whether my clients that like I don't see anymore, but you have to. And I'm just so thankful that our clients are still with us. They're still seeing the girls.
That girl.
And it's working out. And if you let fear like control it, it will. Yeah. And you can't just be like, okay, I don't see it now. But it's not working, and you can force it no matter which way you move it. Like, oh, okay, this can work, or let's just remove this, and this will work. Just scrapping it all and be like, let's start fresh. And
moving with faith, girl.
Let me tell you, these knees have worn.
Oh, girl, you've been praying, girl.
Worn. It was sheer. That's it. That's it. You can't do. You can't.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
No, because I wouldn't be where I am. And like, I remember me and Amy, when we were in the little space, we said, we're going to have like a salon suite. And I was like, how are we going to do a salon suite? Like, we are not beauty girls. Like, you know what I mean? And we are very as minimal as you come. But that just goes to show you can have the space and you can love it, but you don't have to like consume it. And that's a big thing is like, you don't have to be the most glitz glam. You don't have to. You know, if you find a really killer, like the girls that we have at our office, one is solely a bridal makeup artist, which is funny because I did bridal for the teeth whitening.
Right,
so it goes hand in hand.
It goes really hand in hand.
And then we
really
have
good service to offer.
Another makeup artist that is editorial. So she's more edgy. They're completely different. They do say see completely different clients. She's more edgy, more like color, like New York Fashion Week vibe. Love. Then we have a brow artist.
We love a good brow artist.
When I tell you, she is incredible. She will, if you have no brows, she will. I will map it. And when I tell you, when we started, we filled the one room. And that was our brow artist. And I wanted everyone to have separate services. Everyone had to have separate services because I can't market you as the best when there's another girl in the same office doing the same thing. Right. So that was even harder because I had to niche down in finding the girls. But when you find them, and it was like a puzzle piece. And I remember one of the girls I reached out to, and she ghosted me for a month. And And I don't remember if I reached back out or she did, but I was like, you can't let that from like shooting your shot and like reaching out to people, say, oh, this is getting awkward. People are, you know, I see me DMing them and stuff. You can't. You have to let pride,
you
ego,
have to let all ego,
face, literally
have an ego death.
Oh my God, you have to. You have to, because if I did that and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm like reaching out to them if they know any, literally, who gives a flying who? You have to message everyone that you know, people that you don't know. And everyone has to come. Everyone has to come and check it out, and it worked, and it's fine. And like a year ago, because we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary with Indigo Reset on the 23rd
of March or February.
February, yeah. So coming up.
Happy 1 year, guys.
I know. Thank you. But
what a journey.
When I tell you, it has been a roller coaster.
Wow.
I know.
Like if you've listened during this entire episode, like this is like an entrepreneurship course in this episode.
It's a lot.
Like if you really want to know what it takes, like listen to this episode and really I feel like that's why I do this podcast.
You have to. Because that's
literally why I do this podcast, so that people who like people they don't need necessarily, because you didn't need that, right?
I wish I had it.
Right. A lot of people say they wish they had mentors. When you start at the beginning, there's a lack of resources. And podcasting for me has been monumental for my own personal growth, my growth, my journey through entrepreneurship, my journey and just like my career growth. Everything. So I hope that whoever is listening to this can literally listen to Shannon's story and just be like, if she can do all of that, I can learn from her mistakes. Yeah. Right? Or even if I make a mistake, it's okay. It's okay.
Mistakes are needed.
They're needed.
If you think like, if I thought, oh my God, I'm going to stick to this organizing. I'm going to stick to this teeth whitening.
Right.
And oh my God, like I would not be where I meant to be. And like, when we were in that little room, me and Amy sharing that space, we always said we wanted this, but we just didn't know how to get to it. And like little mistakes, little trials and error were here. And I don't know how we got here. A whole lot of mistakes, but if we didn't build up our team to plateau it and then scrap it all and not take services for a while, we didn't take services for like 3 months.
Wow.
So when I tell you scrapped it all.
I don't want to ask how you stayed afloat, but
sheer prayer. When I tell you I am so thankful and so diligent that
Do you lean into your faith?
That's all I have.
I love
literally, that's literally all you have when like you plateau or you're like at the bottom, you're like trying to get up. Like that's literally all you have. And like the same hospitality and the same, oh my God, thank you so much for coming, that I had for you in my space is the same person in that little closet. Like I had the same.
I love that.
It was the same. I did not change that. I just knew like, okay, when I had that bigger space, I had that same, it was just perspective because yes, I'm in a nicer space.
You have to literally sell yourself and sell your service. Like they're getting the best thing ever.
But the thing is that now that you're in a bigger space and you have the bigger, I had that like gorgeous, nice plush and oak bed and it was gorgeous, but now I have to keep you.
Right. Now I have to actually like provide.
So like before we were in that little space and I'm like, oh my God, someone's walking through my door. I have to do a good job. And that's the same way. Now I have to keep them. And so like the cycle doesn't get any easier. It just changes.
Right.
And so where we are now in our office, we have an amazing team and I thank God every day for them, literally every day, because we would not be doing what we're doing without them. And it's beautiful. And
I love that, girl.
I know. I'm so thankful.
Love that. I know we haven't really touched a little bit too much about it, but I'm sure like when you became very strategic and very specific with what you wanted, you had in the back of your mind what a healthy culture of a team would be for you and for Indigo Reset. Yeah. I think that's probably when your maybe like your mission and your vision started to spark a little bit, because what you just said or what you said previous, like this isn't just you now.
Yes.
This isn't about you. This is about everyone else that's alongside you
Exactly.
and following you.
And our mission all along, like me and Amy, when we were in the little space, it's not about appearance. And it's funny because we're in a beauty service, but it's not about that. It's just how you take care of yourself. And it's all well-rounded. I remember going in a big conversation with you about health. Like with us, it's, yes, looking great is amazing, but that is like the makeup, the facial, like that is just like the cherry on top. Like we are just like drizzling the sprinkles. Like it's how you take care of yourself on a daily basis. And like I said, going back to the basics, like being good to yourself will be good to you.
Correct. Yeah.
And so through all of this, me and Amy are super health conscious. And I know, we didn't touch on this at all.
It's actually transitioning very nicely. It's actually going to be one of my next questions. So it just worked out. But yeah, so my next question to you is like during this time or who you guys are as people, what are some like non-negotiables? And I ask all of my guests this because I think it's so important. Like for me, Thrive is being built and created from a place of like, I literally want people to feel like they can thrive in all areas of life. It doesn't have to be perfect because nothing is. Like one area in your life can be in shambles and hurting, and then another area in your life can kind of be a little different, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that everyone really needs to have that self-worth and belief in themselves that they deserve more and that they deserve better and they deserve to be happy and thrive in their health and thrive in their finances, thrive in their relationships, in their business and their mindset. So what, like, going back to the question, like, what do you feel you do to help you thrive during the chaos of life?
That's a great question. So going to what you just said, it's like thriving and making sure you're healthy. It's so hard to stay healthy when like you're just making it meet.
Right.
And so if you're meeting someone there when they're just starting a business or like they are building a personal brand, I would say start removing things. If you can't add things, like if you can't get the best supplements, if you can't get to the best Pilates class, if you can't eat the most organic, literally just remove stuff.
Right. Start eliminating things that don't serve you.
Exactly.
Right.
Removing.
And that will honestly make space for the things that can.
Exactly.
That will.
So like when you can do it or you can move into a bigger space. It's literally anything in life where you want a different job and you don't have the capacity to do a bigger job or longer hours or travel. Remove things and you'll find the time. Like for me, just keeping my head down, saying no to a lot has helped me thrive because now I know what I do want.
Right.
Like
and now you have the space
for
yourself
to say yes to things that I do want. And so like in all of that, it's just grind your little heart out. And then if it's not working, screw it, scrap it. Who cares?
So boundaries are really important for you.
Boundaries.
That's a self-care practice for you.
Yeah. So boundaries are everything for me. During this whole time, I vowed I would never go back full time. So like through all of this that we just spoke, I only worked part-time. So time with my son has been like the most important. I know this sounds like a lot of like ups and downs and like my locations and this and that. But
I want people to also know like what goes like at home. Like how does like a business owner at any level in their business and any season in their business, how can they kind of go back to themselves and like kind of feel aligned again? And
so go with yourself.
How to fill your cup back up.
So you have to you can't fill it back up. You have to fill your cup. And then whatever overflowing, that's what you do.
That's what you give. Yeah.
So for me, my priority was when I left the real estate job and then in the blow drying place and we got our first place together, I was like, I'm only going to do this part-time because my son is my priority. And he has seen literally every little location, us moving a million times. He's seen it all. So I was like, that is like first and foremost, I'm like a mom first and everything else will come. And if it doesn't fit in that boundary, it's not for me. And that's where it goes with, if it's for me, it will be for me. And just staying firm on like your boundaries just staying really firm, like not bending. And I know it's hard in the beginning to say that, like, don't bend.
Yeah. You're bending a lot more towards the beginning.
Exactly. But even in the beginning, stay firm, because then it's going to be really hard to rein your boundaries back in. So like with me, even through all of this, I never worked more than I like had to. At the real estate, I was working nonstop, like 7 hours a week. Our developer, because I was so young, he said, you don't need a time off, like 7 days a week for what seemed like forever. That's why I left and moved to California. So stay firm on your boundaries in the beginning and don't move.
And what your priorities are.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
And if it falls within, it's for you. And if it's not, it's not for you.
I think that's a really important thing to mention. It's not the first time I've heard it, but I feel like people can just feel like a big weight can come off their shoulders, because it's like, you know what, maybe I haven't been setting the correct boundaries. Maybe I thought self-care was like a bubble bath, or I thought self-care was, like buying an organic something.
Right. Or like hair mask.
Right. Or like a hair mask. Like, no, self-care is so much bigger than that. And it's like setting real boundaries with people or with yourself, and also prioritizing what's important for you, so you can make room for what is important for you.
Like even with this, like I made sure like my boundaries, like even at home, like trying to run a business that's 24/7. Like you think like, oh, I want to spend more time with my family, so I'm going to go out. You're working 24/7. Let's be serious. Like there is no, like my life was easier when I had a clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
But did I love it? No. Was the passion there? No. Right. Did I feel drained? Absolutely. And so you have to give and take and be super realistic with that give and take. But I feel like even going down to like working at home, like I make sure my son's asleep before I accomplish any work. Like, yes, I'm working at night. Is it ideal? No, but that comes first. And so like just being really firm, no matter what area you are in life, on your goals, and just if it's for you, it will fall into that place. And I feel like it takes a lot of pressure off me, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to enough events. I'm not networking. I'm not seeing enough people. And I've networked to here without doing
100%.
it.
100%. Yeah, so, you made it to the Thrive podcast, girl.
Right, so I've done all that without doing that, and with staying really, really true. So I feel like you don't have to miss out on the
staying true
the
to
FOMO of like missing out.
I love that.
Like you don't have to.
Yeah.
And like I'm like living proof. You do not have to stay in the know. I am so removed
from the FOMO.
So removed from the know. And you're okay, and you'll thrive.
Okay. We're getting to our end. So before people start following you and stuff like that, I want to know like what piece of advice you would give to anyone who wants to start their own business, or at their like COVID moment, and they're like, hey, I'm thinking of starting this. Like, what piece of advice would you give them?
Okay. And this is as genuine as I can get it. Do what you love, and it won't feel like work. Like I am working right now, and I'm so happy to be here. And like, I just do what you love, stay true to it. It's going to be very hard. The road, if it's meaningful and if it's worth the while and if it's tough, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Like, don't think it's going to be roses all the time. Like I've heard the rule of like, the third.
I've heard of that recently.
You heard the rule of the third.
Recently.
And it is true. It's like you're going to be happy a third of the time.
I forgot where I heard that, but
I've heard it from a professor. He was talking, and I was like, that is very true, because it's not always happy. And it's a lot of it is like, oh my God, like what have I gotten myself into? But then like it'll pass, and then you'll be happy again. And it'll all be okay. So as long as you're happy at what you're doing and it's for the right reasons. Like for me, I knew teeth whitening wasn't going to last, because it was just like
For you to get by.
Just for me to get by. And I was like, this is working perfect right now, but it was for right now. And so like, you have to have that mentality. Is this for right now or is this long-term? And just be really honest with yourself.
And just be okay with pivoting.
Yeah.
And being okay with like, hey, if I start this, it's okay if it changes to some degree.
And it should. If you're growing, it should
Right.
change. And I remember in the very beginning, I was so embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh, it's not working. Like, oh my God, that's my face. That's my name. And I'm like, oh. Like now, like now I'm like, oh, thank God it didn't work. Like, but in the moment I'm like, oh my gosh, my page has like, this is all over my page. Oh my gosh. And now I'm going to post something else. Cringe. Like it didn't work. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Like it could have not like stopped at a better time. So you just have to think like, again, if it's for you, it will be for you. And like what you're doing now, you probably didn't see 10 years ago. So like just... everything will happen the way it's supposed to happen. And just be easy and be calm and like, it's going to work out.
I love that. Thank you so much,
Well,
babe.
thank
Thank you for
you.
joining me
Thank
today.
you
It was
so
such a
much.
great conversation.
Happy.
It was a little lengthy, but I think
know.
people are going to feel like people are going to take so much from this conversation and be able to apply to their real life.
Like if you're starting.
Yeah. I feel like I was there with you.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wow, you really took me there and you took us there, which I really love.
Because if I just mentioned Indigo Reset, you don't see
what happened
the trial,
before. The trials and the tribulations.
You don't appreciate it the same. And I feel like
I appreciate it so much more.
I know. And if people only just said it more like exactly how it happened and like, okay, it's not always pretty, they're like, oh, okay. Like it's not as false.
Yeah, I love that
narrative.
So how can people follow you or book a service with you or get connected with you?
Yes, you can follow us at Indigo Reset with Indigo on Instagram. That's it. We only have Instagram.
I love that.
That's it. Reset with Indigo. Shannon Rehill. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.